Welcome to English Listening Practice. Today, we're telling the amazing story of David Schwimmer. You probably know him as Ross Geller from the TV show Friends. But his real life is much more interesting than any TV show plot.
That's right. He was a serious actor who accidentally became a huge star. And he never really wanted all that fame. We'll talk about how he led the Friends cast to earn $1 million per episode. And why he turned down a role in the blockbuster movie Men in Black.
It's a fascinating story about art, fame, and staying true to yourself. This episode is full of great vocabulary and expressions, so listen carefully until the end. The story of David Lawrence Schwimmer starts on November 2nd, 1966, in Queens, New York. He was born on his mother Arlene's birthday, which is a sweet detail. But his family was more focused on serious work than on sweet stories. Both of his parents, Arthur and Arlene, were successful lawyers. In their house, art was not seen as a real career path. The family valued education as the only way to get a professional job. His mother, Arlene, was a very powerful divorce attorney. When David was 2, his family moved from New York to Los Angeles. The move was for his mother's career. She represented famous clients like Elizabeth Taylor and Roseanne Barr in their divorces. This meant David grew up in the center of Hollywood. But he saw the difficult and painful side of fame from a young age. This experience made him skeptical about celebrity life long before he became famous himself.
David went to the famous Beverly Hills High School. Many children of Hollywood stars went there, like Angelina Jolie. But for David, it was not a dream. He felt like a complete outsider. He called himself a fat, ugly geek. He said the popular kids were rich, good-looking, and had new BMW cars at age 16. He was not one of them. For his 16th birthday, he hoped for a BMW. Instead, his dad gave him a huge 1976 Chevy Impala. He joked that the car was so big it had to be docked instead of parked. He also felt awkward physically. He described himself as short and heavy with a mustache, headgear, and braces. But in this difficult time, he found a safe place: the theater. At age 12, he attended a Shakespeare workshop with the famous actor Sir Ian McKellen. He was fascinated by the experience. It sparked a real passion for acting. His drama teacher encouraged him to attend a summer acting program at Northwestern University. He called the experience enlightening and exhilarating. In the theater community, he finally felt accepted. He found a group of people who valued passion, not looks or money.
After high school, David wanted to become a professional actor right away. But his parents insisted he go to college first. They wanted him to have something to fall back on if acting didn't work out. So he enrolled at Northwestern University and graduated in 1988 with a degree in theater. At Northwestern, he joined an improv comedy group with a young Stephen Colbert. In his senior year, he wanted to direct a stage version of Alice in Wonderland. The university refused to give him a space. So, in an act of creative defiance, David decided to produce the show himself. He rented a room and paid for the entire production with his own bar mitzvah money. The play was a huge success. The university dean was so impressed that he offered a deal. If the group could raise $5,000 to take the show to a festival in Scotland, the university would match it. They raised the money, and the trip to Scotland was a life-changing experience. It taught them they could produce world-class theater on their own terms. In 1988, Schwimmer and 7 of his friends officially started the Looking Glass Theater Company. The name was a tribute to their first successful show. Their mission was to create collaborative and inventive theater.
After graduating, David Schwimmer lived the life of a struggling artist for 7 years. He worked as a waiter to pay his bills. He said this experience taught him to always tip well. He knew how much service workers depend on tips. Auditions in Los Angeles were difficult. Casting agents often told him he looked too ethnic. But despite the rejections, he started getting small roles on TV. And these were roles on very good shows. From 1991 to 1992, he was in The Wonder Years. He played Michael, the hippie boyfriend of the main character's sister. He also had roles on popular drama shows like LA Law. His most memorable early role was on the police drama NYPD Blue in 1993. He played a man who becomes a vigilante after being a victim of crime. It was an intense, dramatic role that showed his acting range. Working on these high-quality shows taught him what great television could be.
In 1994, David Schwimmer got a regular role on a network sitcom called Monty. It seemed like a big break. The show starred the famous actor Henry Winkler from Happy Days. Winkler played a conservative talk show host. Schwimmer played his liberal son. But the show was a complete failure. Critics thought it was unoriginal, and it was canceled after only 6 episodes. For Schwimmer, the experience was a creative nightmare. He came from the collaborative world of his Looking Glass Theater Company. On the sitcom set, the structure was very rigid. He had ideas for his character, but nobody wanted to listen. He felt like he had no creative control. The attitude was basically, shut up and say your lines. He hated the experience so much that he made a big decision. He decided to quit television completely. He told his agent not to send him any more TV scripts. He went back to Chicago to focus on his theater company.
While David was back in Chicago, a new script called Friends was being cast in Los Angeles. The creators, Marta Kaufman and David Crane, had seen countless actors. But for one character, Ross Geller, they only wanted one person. A year earlier, they had seen David Schwimmer audition for a different show. They were very impressed by him. They remembered his unique hangdog appearance. So when they wrote the character of Ross, they wrote it with David's voice in their heads. From the very beginning, he was their Ross. There was just one big problem. David Schwimmer had sworn off television and wanted nothing to do with the show. His agent sent the script, but he refused to read it. The creators had to beg and beseech him to consider it. The famous director James Burrows, who was directing the pilot, personally called David. He told him the part of Ross was created for him. Finally, David's agent convinced him to read the script. He was happy to see that Friends was a true ensemble show, not focused on one star. It was like a theater group which appealed to him. He flew to LA, and the role fit him perfectly. The reluctant actor was finally convinced to return to television.
When Friends premiered in 1994, David Schwimmer's performance as Ross Geller was an immediate hit. Critics called him terrific. He was so good that he earned an Emmy nomination in the show's first season. Schwimmer's performance had two amazing sides: physical comedy and emotional vulnerability. He was brilliant at physical comedy. His famous pivot scene while moving a sofa is a classic moment of television comedy. Other hilarious moments include his unagi self-defense, the leather pants incident, and his glowing white teeth. He could turn Ross's worst moments into comedy gold. But what really made Ross a great character was the real heart Schwimmer gave him. He wasn't just a funny guy, he was a man dealing with real heartbreak. This was most clear in his relationship with Rachel Green. The big breakup scene after the "We Were on a Break" fight is incredibly powerful. Schwimmer showed Ross's desperation and devastation with raw honesty. It was his ability to mix comedy with real pain that made the romance so believable and kept audiences watching for 10 years.
For years, viewers didn't know a secret behind the amazing on-screen chemistry. During the Friends reunion special in 2021, David and Jennifer Aniston revealed the truth. They were crushing hard on each other during the first season of the show. Jennifer confirmed that the feeling was mutual. David remembered cuddling on the couch together between scenes. Jennifer remembered telling him it would be a shame if their first kiss was on national television. And that's exactly what happened. Their first real kiss was in character at the coffee shop Central Perk. They never had a real-life romance because one of them was always in another relationship. They respected that boundary. Instead, Jennifer explained, "We just channeled all of our adoration and love for each other into Ross and Rachel. This real, unspoken feeling gave their TV romance an electric, undeniable authenticity. It helped create one of the most famous love stories in television history."
The great chemistry on screen was matched by strong unity off screen. This unity would change television salaries forever. In the first season, each cast member earned $22,500 per episode. By the second season, some actors were earning more than others. David and Jennifer were reportedly earning more because their storyline was central to the show. As they prepared to negotiate for season 3, David had a radical idea. He suggested that all 6 of them should negotiate together as a single group. This was a new idea in an industry that usually divided actors. In an incredible show of unity, David and Jennifer, the highest earners, agreed to take a pay cut. This was to make sure everyone in the cast received the same salary. This collective bargaining tactic was a huge success. For season 3, all 6 actors were paid $75,000 per episode. As the show became more and more popular, their salaries grew together. For the final 2 seasons, they negotiated an incredible deal, $1 million per episode for each cast member. This made Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, and Lisa Kudrow the highest-paid TV actresses ever. They also negotiated for a percentage of the show's profits, which was groundbreaking. It is estimated that each star still earns $10 to $20 million every year from the show.
While Friends brought David Schwimmer huge success, it also had a personal cost. The sudden global fame was a jarring and terrifying experience for him. Before the show even aired, director James Burrows warned them. He took the 6 young actors to Las Vegas and told them it was the last time they could walk around anonymously. Burroughs was right. Schwimmer's life changed overnight. The loss of privacy was total. But worse than that, fame interfered with his job as an actor. He explained, "As an actor, the way I was trained, my job was to observe life and to observe other people." He used to walk around watching people to learn for his craft. But with celebrity, the situation was reversed. The effect of celebrity was the absolute opposite, he said. It made me want to hide under a baseball cap, not be seen. He realized he was no longer watching people. He was trying to hide from them. This created a professional crisis for him. The constant attention made him uncomfortable. He felt that people thought they knew him because they saw him on TV every week for 10 years. This difficult struggle with fame would shape his career choices after Friends.
As David navigated the pressures of stardom, he found a new creative role on the Friends set, directing. He was the only main cast member to direct episodes of the show. He learned by shadowing the show's main director, James Burrows, whom he considered a mentor. Over the show's run, David directed 10 episodes in total. He was often trusted with very important episodes. His first episode was The One on the Last Night, an emotional story about Rachel and Chandler moving out. He also directed funny episodes like the one with Ross's library book. One of his biggest directing jobs was the one with the red sweater. This episode famously revealed who the father of Rachel's baby was. He also directed the one with the birth mother, a key episode for Monica and Chandler's adoption story. His directing style was very collaborative, creating a fun environment where other actors could share ideas. This experience was important for the next chapter of his career.
When Friends ended in 2004, David Schwimmer chose a different path from his co-stars. Instead of seeking more big Hollywood roles, he deliberately stepped away from the spotlight. He wanted to reconnect with his theater roots. This wasn't a new feeling for him. In 1997, at the peak of his Friends fame, he was offered the lead role in the movie Men in Black. The part, which went to Will Smith, would have made him a huge movie star. But he turned it down. The reason was loyalty. He had promised to direct his first movie, called Since You've Been Gone. He had cast his best friends from his Looking Glass theater company in the film. These friends had quit their jobs to be in his movie. The shooting schedule for his movie was the same as the schedule for Men in Black. He had to choose between becoming a movie star and keeping his promise to his friends. He chose his friends. He believed that if he had taken the movie role, his relationship with his theater company would have been destroyed. For him, loyalty to his friends was more important than being a movie star.
After Friends, David Schwimmer focused on his passion for directing. His first major feature film was in 2007, a British romantic comedy called Run Fat Boy Run. It starred Simon Pegg. Schwimmer loved the script because it was funny and also moving. The movie received mixed reviews, but critics said Schwimmer was a competent director. His next film, Trust, from 2010, was very different. It was his passion project, which he had worked on for 7 years. Trust is a serious and difficult drama about a 14-year-old girl who is targeted by an online predator. The idea for the film came from his work with the Rape Foundation in Santa Monica. He wanted to explore how such a trauma affects the entire family. He handled the difficult subject with great care and sensitivity. The film received excellent reviews. The famous critic Roger Ebert gave it a perfect 4 stars and called it a brave film. These 2 movies showed his range as a director, from light comedy to serious drama.
While directing was a focus, David also returned to acting in very different roles. He chose complex characters that were far from the personality of Ross Geller. In 2001, while still on Friends, he played Captain Herbert Sobel in the HBO series Band of Brothers. Sobel was a hated and cruel training officer. It was shocking for many people to see the lovable Ross play such an unsympathetic character. But the role showed he did not want to be typecast. His biggest acting comeback was in 2016 in American Crime Story, The People vs. O.J. Simpson. He played Robert Kardashian, O.J. Simpson's loyal friend and lawyer. His performance earned him his 2nd Emmy nomination. To prepare, he spoke with Kardashian's ex-wife, Kris Jenner, for 2 hours. He learned about Robert's deep religious faith and his love for his family. These became the key parts of his portrayal. He played Kardashian as the heart and conscience of the story. His performance was a critical success and reminded audiences that he was a powerful dramatic actor.
David Schwimmer has also had a long career as a dedicated activist. He has used his fame to support causes he cares about, like social justice and women's safety. For over 25 years, he has been on the board of directors for the Rape Foundation. This organization helps victims of sexual assault. His work there inspired his film Trust. In 2017, during the #MeToo movement, he produced and starred in a campaign called #That'sHarassment. It was a series of short films showing what workplace harassment looks like. The films were based on real stories and aimed to help people speak out. In recent years, Schwimmer has also become a strong voice against anti-Semitism. He uses his social media to educate people and challenge hatred. After the October 7th attacks in Israel, he became very vocal. He has urged other people in Hollywood to speak out against hatred. This shows he is an artist with strong convictions who is not afraid to stand up for his beliefs.
In his personal life, David also moved away from the Hollywood spotlight. In 2007, he met Zoe Buckman, a British artist, while directing in London. They married in 2010 and had a daughter, Cleo, in 2011. He called being a father the greatest joy of his life. The couple separated in 2017 but remain good friends and co-parents. They have even attended social justice protests together with their daughter. In a sweet and funny twist, it was his daughter Cleo who helped him appreciate Friends again. For almost 20 years, he avoided watching the show. The fame had been difficult and he wanted to move on. But that changed when his daughter, around age 9, started watching the show on her own. He would hear her laughing at the show from the other room. Hearing her joy completely changed his feelings about it. He said his whole relationship with the show changed. The thing that was once a burden now felt like a source of happiness that he could finally embrace.
Recently, David Schwimmer has stepped back into the television spotlight in a big way. In January 2025, he began starring in the Disney Plus series Goosebumps, The Vanishing. In the show, he plays Anthony, a single father who gets involved in a dark mystery from the past. It's his first major, ongoing TV role in years. At the same time, he has taken a more active leadership role at his Lookingglass theater company. The COVID-19 pandemic was very hard on live theater. Schwimmer joined the theater's board of directors to help guide it through this difficult time. He remains deeply committed to the company he started with his friends in college. Lookingglass and Chicago have always been my artistic home, he said recently. He feels it's the place where he has always been most supported as an artist. His return to both TV and the stage brings his journey full circle. He is balancing a public career with his personal commitment to his artistic legacy.
So, who is David Schwimmer really? He is the nerdy paleontologist, the tough captain, the loyal friend, and the passionate activist. He is all of these things. His life shows that you can be famous for one thing but not be limited by it. He experienced a level of fame that was often uncomfortable. But instead of just seeking more fame, he used his power to help others. He used it to support his theater company and his friends. He used it to tell difficult but important stories. And he used it to speak up for people who needed a voice.
He built an artistic home before he was famous. And throughout his amazing career, he has always found his way back to it. The story of David Schwimmer is not just about a friend. It's about what it means to be a true friend to your art, your values, and the people you started with.